Welcome back to Silent Hill Acres, and I've started to do a little bit of cleanup work. Cut a few branches off of this, and I'm gonna have to clean up this whole area here. This is one of my big Virginia pine trees that was blown over from Hurricane Helene, and not only that, it took down a few other trees that once it fell. So I was very fortunate that as far as I have been able to get around my property, because this is my main trail to get in and out on this side of my property, and so I've only been able to walk it a little bit. Um, so once I get this all cut up and moved, then I'll be able to get the side by side and really drive around and see what else I might have lost. Uh, Again, my family and I, we were very fortunate that this is pretty much the most damage we had was just some falling trees. I had a big limb that fell off a tree in my front yard, but for the most part, we didn't lose power. I think we lost the internet for maybe a couple hours, which I was kind of fine with that. But of course, my kids, they were a little perturbed because they couldn't watch their cartoons and stuff like that, so we had to revert to DVDs. And but anyways, after a couple hours, the power or the internet was reconnected, and we just kind of went on from there. So, but we're going to get started today. First thing I'm going to do is kind of de-limb everything, and then I don't know if I'll get this whole tree cut up and everything like that. But the biggest goal for me today is just to cut this big section out of this pine tree. That way I can at least get a path through here. So well, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. The tools that I'm using today are, of course, the Kioti tractor with the big grapple on it, and of course I've uh, put my car hauler uh, hitch on there on the back with all the cement blocks and everything, for my ballast, because I'm sure this tree here is going to be pretty heavy to just try to pick up. So I want to make sure I have the right amount of ballast on the back of it. But for the most part right now, I'm just going to de-limb it all. And the tools I'm going to use for that mainly is a Craftsman, basically it's like a Sawzall, but it's just a handheld one. You control it with one hand. And basically it's like a pruning saw. So I'm going to do that mainly to just cut up the limbs and everything. And then once I get it de-limbed to a point where I can cut a big section out, then I'm going to fire up the chainsaw, and then I'll start working on cutting this thing up. And then I'll bring the Kioti in with the grapple, and we'll grab that main section there, move it out, and then we'll keep on working. First, there's a few trees I need to take out that were bent over from when this big pine tree came down. And so I want to get those out. And like I said, I want to cut a lot of these main branches out just so that nothing's going to be, poking me in the face or possibly, puncturing the grill of my tractor and stuff like that. So, uh, but I hope you enjoy this video. Again, this is why I have the tools that I do, because when you live out on a piece of property and you got quite a bit of land and you got a lot of these trees that during a storm, um, you might only lose one or two, but there's a possibility you can lose a lot more. And I just want to get this cleaned up, and I don't think we're going to get any effects from Hurricane Milton, but at the same time, we never know when a storm might pop up and come through unexpectedly. So let's get started. Now the only good thing about, unfortunately, of that big tree coming down is that it's gotten me out here to cut also these little trees out that I've been wanting to. I just want to make this path a little bit bigger to get back in here, whether I'm, using the tractor, the side by side, and plus I'm pulling a trailer sometimes. So I've been wanting to clear this out, and also by clearing this out, it's going to make it easier for me to grab a hold of this big tree that has fallen, and it's back behind them. Hopefully by the time I get done, there should only be like maybe one tree in this area, and I'll leave that one because it's pretty big. So I don't want to take out too many huge trees, but these saplings here, I just want to get rid of these. So, and I have to say, so far, I'm pretty impressed with this Craftsman, basically a Sawzall. It's a 20 volt, and so far it's been working pretty good. I just got it yesterday, so I've been kind of putting it through its paces. I used it quite a bit yesterday to cut up a bunch of branches and stuff over by the house, and so I figure I'd put it to use, see how it does. Again, when I get to some of the bigger stuff, I'll break out the chainsaw and use that. But for right now, I'm just going to use this here. One, it's not as loud. I don't have to put any earplugs in, which I forgot. And I don't burn any fuel. So for right now, I'll just keep using this little battery-powered saw. And one, I'll see how long the battery lasts. It says it's a 4 amp hour, so we'll see. Now I have this tree that got bent over from when that big pine tree fell. So what I'm going to try to do is maybe just cut it in sections, because I'm afraid if I cut it at one end, one, it might pinch my blade down here, and two, I just don't want a big branch or anything coming back and hit me in the face. So I might try to cut some of these small branches off of it to reduce the risk of being smacked. Get a few more of these branches off, and then I'll tackle the main part of the tree. I'm not sure, I can't remember the names of all the trees. I think this is some type of maple, but I think it's maybe I don't know if there's such a thing. Maybe a soft maple. I don't know, because it cuts pretty easy. So, all right, let's try this out. Oh, good. All right. Damage there. Let's see if I can get this big branch out. All right. I'm going to cut some of these branches off because the actual trunk itself, I might just cut that up and use it as some firewood once it dries out in my fire pit, because I usually don't like putting stuff through my wood chipper that's, overly big or thick. All right, well, I'm taking a little break right now. As you can see, even though it was, I believe it was in the 50s this morning when I first went outside, walked my daughter to the end of the driveway for her bus ride to school. So, but anyways, it's still very humid here right now, and because I think the highs are only supposed to be mid 70s, but which I'm thankful that it's in the 70s. But as you can see, I've trimmed off quite a bit of that big log there, and what I'm going to do is try to possibly see if I can lift it up here with the grapple, and maybe I can cut that section off right there, and that would lighten this up, and I'd be able to move the grapple maybe down on this end, cut another section out, and just kind of work my way back. The main reason why I'm doing that is to try to prevent pinching off my chainsaw. Because if I just went right, here and there, I don't know if there would be enough drop on the top end there that it wouldn't pinch back on my chainsaw. So I'm gonna try that out at first. If that doesn't work, I might have to delimb more of this down on this end here, and then get my tractor in there, and then maybe pick that end up and then cut the top off of it. I'm I'm not a lumberjack, and so I'm just trying to figure this out as I go and see what's going to work best. I've trimmed or delimbed this side of it for right now, just so I'd be able to get my grapple to grab a hold of the trunk, and we'll see what it does, because I'm not having like pinch down on it or anything. I just need to get the bottom of it to get underneath there, just so I can lift it up. And like I said, I'll cut that section off on the right hand side, and then just kind of work my way back, maybe come in here, lift it up again, cut another big section off, move it down one more time, cut another big section off, and then on the very end pick it up, and hopefully I can get that section cut off. So we'll see. Something that I want to kind of show to you real quick, and hopefully I don't trip myself and fall over, but with these Virginia pines, they don't have a really deep root system. So as you can see, everything that's coming out of the bottom of the stump, they're pretty small roots. But what really holds these roots into the ground is these big tap roots that come off of it. I mean, just kind of give you a size comparison. There's my hand. I'll come around here. There's my hand. That's just a root. It's not a branch or anything coming off of it. That's the root right there. And as you can see, there's another big one here. That's a tap root. So, like I said in my stump bucket video, that when you go to get some of these stumps out, and I'm sure it's probably depending on what kind of trees they are and that, but I know with pine trees, they're roots extend out. They don't have a real deep root system. Theirs more is horizontal, and that's why it's so predominantly that usually your pine trees will tip over pretty easy. You know, if we get some super strong heavy winds and that, you know, it'll sometimes take these pines out without any problems. And I've noticed, as you can see, I got 2 dead ones there that I need to take down, and then I got another one big dead one here. so I got 3 more just right here of these Virginia pines that I need to cut down. But hopefully I'll be able to do those more in a time when it's more feasible for me. This one here, it's just, you know, it came down during the storm, and this one was a live one. Unfortunately, I couldn't take down one of my dead ones, but that kind of goes also to tell you, you know, even these live pine trees with a heavy duty root system on it, they'll still go down. And there was no other tree that fell on this pine tree to knock it down. It came down with the wind, and kind of ripped up the ground a little bit. As you can see, like here is you can see where the root went. So, you know, and then there's another track there of a root. So it's amazing what Mother Nature can do to itself. You know, she can, as they say, she can be a bitch. So sorry if there's any kids listening or watching this, but you know, sometimes she can be relentless, and then it just takes time to clean it all up after she's done. All right, I think I've said before, when you're using your front loader, you want to have your RPMs up between 2,000, 2,500, somewhere in there, and then put it in 4-wheel drive, put it in low, and let's get the Kioti over there and see if it'd be able to pick this thing up. Now, I'm not really going to be able to get the camera in here too close because, again, there's a lot of branches and stuff, and I just don't want to take a chance it falls on the camera, and something I could also trip over if I got to get out of the way real quick. You definitely want to try to make sure you have an escape route when you're cutting stuff up. Alright, that actually went a little bit easier than I thought it would. And then what I'll do, once I get this big section over here cut up, then I'll come in with a grapple, grab a hold of it, and then drag the rest of it out, the top piece anyways. So I'm going to have to move the tractor again. We'll lay this down. I'll move over a little bit more and just keep doing the same thing. I'll just cut off sections of it. Alright, well, I've cut another section off there. And what I'm going to do now is lower this back down, come in as close as I can to this tree that's right beside me, lift it up here, cut that other end off, let it back down, and then come right in, right this section here, lift it up, cut it, and just keep working my way down. Because again, there's no way I could lift this huge tree all at once. So I'm just going to have to do it in sections, and Hope you enjoy it. All right. Is that it's real soft wood and easy to cut. I should be able to fit right in between this big tree here, and I got a little stump I'm gonna have to cut up. All right. Well, I've cut another section off, and what I'm gonna probably do is bring the grapple about as far down as I can here, cut that big section off, and then all I have left on this side is just a very little bit of the tree itself, and the rest of it's a stump. So before I try to get that stump out, I'll cut all the outlying roots off as much as I can, and then I'll see if I can use the grapple and get the rest of it out of the ground. If that doesn't work, I'll have to get the stump bucket and just kind of work with it and see if I can get the whole thing out at once. But again, I'm still learning how to use all this stuff, so hope you're enjoying this. Alright. That kind of worked out pretty good because that tree kind of landed on the other section, so it's keeping it off the ground for me. Alright, let's see if I can lift this up. There we go. Might come on this side. Alright. Might have to push this one back a little bit. It's laying on top of my other one. There we go. That's right, a few branches on it. Alright, I'm just going to take this big log out front, where I'll have easy access to it when it goes to taking it over to the house. I'll do all the logs at once. Alright, let's see if I can get a little bit closer in here. Yeah, it's still rooted in there pretty good, so what I'll probably end up doing is cutting this section off here and maybe seeing if I can take the grapple and I'll go into where the roots are at, see if I can tilt that stump back over, and then maybe I'll be able to cut the rest off. All right. Again, what I'm going to try to do is I'll let this back down and maybe come at it from a different angle. And I'm going to try to push where I'm going to basically try to stand it back up. That way I'll be able to cut this big section off here. Because if I try to do it now with the tree not being supported on when I'm trying to cut it on that end, it'll pitch my blade off. And then it becomes a hassle. So again, all I'm going to try to do is just try to stand it back up and see if that'll work. Maybe I'll try to pull it back some. Nope. All right, what about lifting it up? Now I'm going to have to go to a different angle here. Let's see what I can do here. Let's see if it'll stay. Let's just see how this goes. There we go. Woo! Not a perfect cut, but it's down. Get this little log out of the way. All right. Looks like I got the majority of it there. So, all right. Looks like I won't be able to get squarely in there, but I might be able to just maneuver it the way I want. There we go. There. And that's why I have the rear ballast on there. I was saying I just want to do a series where I'm covering all my attachments and then I'll start using them or showing you that I'm using them. But this is a very good opportunity for me to be able to get the grapple out and let you see how it can really work and help for you. And it's definitely a major piece of equipment that I'm glad I got, because trying to handle all these big, logs by hand, I'd have to cut them up in real small pieces, basically like firewood size pieces, just to get it out of here. Whereas with this, I can cut it all up. They're most of them are about 6 foot or so long, and then I'll come back at another time and just focus on, and I can just, like I said, I'll take them to the other side of the property, and then I can cut them over there and then throw them in my wood pile as I cut it. But I'm gonna go ahead and focus on getting these rest of these logs out here, and I'll just go ahead and keep recording it. I'm going to show you the technique that I'm using right now. Is once I pull the big trunk out, I go ahead and get my little hand saw, or pruning saw if you want to call it, trim all these branches off, especially the ones that are underneath the tree when you can't cut them because the weight of the log is on top of it. So it's like this one right here, I wouldn't have been able to cut that because the weight of the tree was pushing it down, and that was buried into the ground. So by getting it out and bringing it over here, I'm able to now delimit pretty easily, and I bring it right close to my pile, so I'm not having to walk forever, or walk as much, I guess you want to say. As I'm delimbing this. One more. Well, got one little twig. There we go. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video. That's just a little bit of the work that I can do with the grapple, and there's much more I can also do with it. Again, I hadn't planned on doing a video using the grapple yet, but Mother Nature, I guess she decided she wanted me to show it to you and show it in use. The next video that I'll probably do using the grapple is cleaning up all these piles. And what I'll end up doing is taking all these brush piles, loading them onto a trailer, and then pulling the trailer over to the other side of the property. And like I said before, I'm going to run all that through my wood chipper. So I should get pretty good, decent amount of mulch. And because I have various piles all around here, and I'm wanting to, like I said, get all that cleaned up and try to get a huge mulch pile to put in my garden. So we'll keep tacking at it. You just bite off a little bit at a time. You try to do this all at once, and sometimes you just, end up getting more frustrated because, you think you're not getting enough accomplished, and, you just come to realize, you can only do so much. And, if you try to tackle it and do it all at one time, that's when mistakes could be made, and, you could get hurt, you could damage, your tractor, or something. And, that's not worth it. It's better off just to take your time and, make sure that, you're being safe, and that, you're not going to bring unnecessary uh, accidents to, like I said, to you or your equipment, you know, um, because if you damage your equipment, then that just puts you that much further behind. So I've learned to just take my time. It's not a race; it's a marathon, and I just bite off what I can, do a little bit here, do a little bit there, uh, and it gets done when it gets done. This property, I plan on being here until at least I'm not here anymore, breathing anyways. So I got the rest of my life to get out here and work on the property, and I enjoy doing this. This is, I guess you want to call my zen. This is my zen. When I'm out in the woods, I'm in a peaceful, area and state of mind, and I just enjoy being out here. Um, don't like it as much, during the blistering heat, during the middle of summer, but I just don't work out it as long, during those days when it's just super hot and humid and everything. So, but again, uh, there's lots and lots and lots of more projects to be done, and so you'll be seeing the grapple again. Like I said, I need to clear out these brush piles, and again, I don't know what's further back in the woods. I've walked around a little bit, but uh, it's usually a lot easier just to get around on the side by side. And again, this was my first step of being able to do that. This huge pine, like I said, it blocked the path to get, from the one side of the property to over here and get back into the woods. Because I haven't built my bridge yet to get the side by side to go over across and that on the back side of the property. So this is the only way I can get to it. But again, hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you next time on Silent Hill Acres.